And then I said, it's okay to die. The minute I said it's okay to die, there was a shadow by the door. So if you imagine the door, it was so bright and I could see a shadow there. And it moved in the room the minute I said it's okay to die. And it touched me. And when that shadow touched me, I felt this tremendous sense of love and peace and calm and this warm breeze. And I felt so well. I could breathe. I was perfectly fine. And I feel this breeze blowing and this breeze blowing. And I got long hair, right? So I'm thinking my hair is blowing in the wind and wow, and I feel like it's lifting me, lifting me, lifting me. The next thing I know, I'm standing in the corner of the room and I'm looking at the crash team, the CPR team, saving my life. And I looked at me, and this is a defining moment. I had several defining moments, but this is one of them. I looked at myself and I said, this is me and I'm dead. That's me and I'm dead. But if that's me, then who am I? Who am I? I'm watching all this. I'm thinking. I feel alive. I feel perfectly fine. Then I hear a voice, and it's a female voice, and she says to me, think of your body as if it was a car. And that car has like 5 million miles on it, and we can't fix it anymore. So now you have to say goodbye to your body. I'm looking at my body, and for the first time, I looked at myself, and I loved who I had been. I saw so much beauty in who I was. Because when I was alive, I was never good enough. There was always something wrong. Everybody's always telling you you're not good enough. You can't do this, you can't do that. And I believed all that. And I used to look at myself in the mirror and hate it. And now I looked at myself and I said, wow, what a beautiful, that body was so beautiful, so perfect for me. And I started to have these memories. And the memories weren't like the crossroads, like these big moments in your life. So when you get married, when you see a baby born, nothing like that. They were simple, simple memories of every day. Taking a deep breath. Hearing a bird sing, seeing my children's eyes, the love they had for me, seeing the sunrise, trees, the wind. And I said to myself, somebody hugging me holding my little brother's hand. And I said to myself, man, I miss life. I was so worried about making it, about making money, about working, about all these things that I missed life. And 99% of my life was right there in front of me, and I didn't see it. All I had to do was look out a window, and I could see all that beauty, and I never saw it. So I felt really bad because I was thinking, it's too late. I missed my life. It's too late now. And always worried about money and having things and stuff like that. And I realized that wasn't the way to live life. There's a better way to live life. And anyway, I looked at that body for the first time with love and appreciation, and I understood that that body sacrificed itself for me. So that body would do whatever I told it to do. You want to run. If you want to do, just did it. And it gave itself up for me, and I saw so much beauty in it. Then the spirit comes to me and says, we got to go. So I start walking off with her. And then there's this like a black hole in front of me. I fall in and I feel like this tearing, something ripping me apart. And then I land on the bottom and she says, keep going. We're not there yet. And the same thing happens. I fall in this hole and I feel this tearing. Then this time I don't land on anything. I wind up in the middle of a bowl. So you imagine a basketball or anything round and you're right in the center and you're floating in the center, and all around you, all around me was color, and the color was moving and it was alive. And I could hear it talking like a million voices, and it sounded like a chatter, like shh. And I feel the colors coming to me, or I'm moving to the color, I don't know which. But finally I get inside the color and I feel the color. I feel what red was like, what yellow was like, and they're talking to me. They're talking to me blue, green. And I have this amazing experience. And then they tell me how to paint. Now, I never drew in my life. I never could paint. But they taught me, this is how you paint. This is what you need to do to paint. And it was like I was a student for a little bit. And I kept moving, and I finally come out of the color, and I come out into this beautiful world. And there's this beautiful forest and these mountains. And behind it, and they're really tall, and I could see the snow on the top, and I could see the shadows the clouds make. They're so contrasty. It was so beautiful. And I could see herds of animals running around. And then I realized that I was floating. And I said, I'm flying. And the voice said to me, that's common here. Then I said, I remember my kids, and I started thinking about them. And I said, what's going to happen to my kids? And the voice said to me, don't worry, you can see them from here. So I start moving. And as I move and I get close to this tree, there's a beautiful tree in front of me. I kind of become that tree. And I could feel the roots taking nourishment from the ground, from Mother Earth. And then I became the leaf. I became a bird that was on it. Everything I got near, I became that. And I had an understanding of what oneness was. I wasn't like inside this body. I could be everything that was around me. Then I decided I wanted to go up to the mountaintops and see. So I go up the mountaintops and I start looking. And I look to my right and I see the sun. And the sun is setting or rising. I don't know which. But it's like I'm looking through a telescope and I can see the solar flares just coming out of it. It's so beautiful. And that warm air was coming from there. And even there, I'm thinking, wow, that's what's allowing me to fly. That warm air is lifting me. Then I look to the left, and there's a beautiful beach, like a horseshoe. And I see a man far away in the water, like knee deep in the water, but he's holding 6 children on one side and 1 kid on the other, like in a line. And then I have to make a decision. I'm thinking, should I go to the sun or should I go see who this man is? So I decided to go see who this man was. And I start moving towards him. And I get about 10 or 15 feet away. And the man turns around. And when he turns around, that was my father. And me and my father, we fought a lot. And we never hugged. He never told me, I love you. I never said to him, I love you. That wasn't, men don't hug. And I always felt really guilty and bad about that when he had died, that I never had a chance to tell him that I cared about him. You know, even though I still cared about him and I loved him. And I said, wow, I'm going to have this opportunity right now to do that. I'm going to be able to tell my father that I love him, that I care, and I want to hug him. And I'm going to have that opportunity right here. I didn't have it when I was alive, but right now I can have it. So he starts talking to me and I could hear him in my head. He's not moving his lips, but I hear him and I'm talking to him the same way. So turns out that he said he loved me and I said, I love you. And we forgave each other. We forgave each other. Then I got really close to him and I was able to hug him. My advice is to be who you really are. And you need to say what you feel. It's okay to tell somebody you love them. It's okay to give them a hug. The value is as much for them as for you. Because there's going to be a time, if you don't say it, that person's going to move. It's going to leave. They're going to die. They're going to move on. And you're going to sit there like I sat there with my father. And regret. And be bitter. And it made me so mad and angry. And I was really struggling for 5 years after my father died. So I had that experience that I could be with him and share that moment. It's so important to do, even with your kids, you know, be kind, be loving. You know, somebody says something to you that may hurt you, but maybe something happened to them. Maybe let's think about what are they going through. You know, my father drank a lot, and when he drank, he was like a totally different person. And, you know, we have to be able to forgive. And we have to be able to forgive. Most important, forgive ourselves. When I was in that place with my father, I was able to forgive me. And that set me free. And that's what you got to do. You got to forgive yourself. And it's okay to tell somebody to love you. And maybe they don't want to hear it. Maybe they're like, you know what? You don't mean that. That's not real. Whatever they say to you, they could, but you say your truth. because that's the most important thing in the world. When you say your truth, nobody could ever take that away from you. You own that, and that goes with you forever. And my dad looks at me finally, he says, you know, Jose, you got to go back. And I looked at my father and I said, no, I don't want to go back. I like it here. He said, no, you got to go back. And I felt this pressure in my chest and then something pulling me from my back. And I'm back in my body. Dying didn't teach me anything about dying. It only taught me about living. It made living so important. And it made me appreciate everything that's in front of me. Everything. When I go outside, I love the trees. I love the sky. You know, I love to see kids playing. I like to hear the sound of life, birds, all that stuff. Just taking that deep breath. Now imagine I couldn't breathe. Just doing this simple thing that we do 20 times a minute is so amazing. And I never thought of it. I never cared. Wasn't important. You know, now I feel like blessed that the creator, God, the God of your belief, whatever you believe in, made this planet for us, made this place for us to live so that we could live here. There's food, there's air, there's everything we need to survive here. And it was made for us. So I just want to enjoy every minute of it. You know, we have an opportunity here to make a lot of good memories. Why? Because that's the only thing that goes with me. All the bad stuff that happens to me can't go with me. It stays somewhere. I don't know where it goes, but it doesn't go with you. So I decided that my role is to love life, to appreciate it, to love every moment of it, every breath, everything I see or hear or taste. I mean, we're so blessed. So that's kind of like my message, you know, is make these good memories, you know, hug somebody. Say, you know, you care about somebody. If you do, don't do what I did with my dad that we never talked. And then when he died, it made me so bitter and so angry and so pained. So many people, so many good people. The thing, you know, in life, we get stuck with bad things. We keep remembering them. And there's so many beautiful moments in life. You know, holding somebody's hand when you're afraid. You know, telling someone you love them. You know, closing your eyes and feeling the warm sun hit your body. When you're thirsty, just drinking water, how that makes you feel so wonderful. Wow, felt so refreshing, so good. Life is so special. It's an opportunity to experience something that we couldn't experience anywhere else. Yes, we have all that love over there. It's beautiful. It's perfect. But this is perfectly imperfect. We're going to have challenges here. We're going to have some struggles. But there's so many beautiful moments that we have. You know, I get tired. I sit down. I relax. I'm hungry. I eat. You know, when I grew up, we struggled a lot. So there were a lot of days we didn't eat. So I know what it's like to be hungry. But when that food finally came, how good that felt. We need to appreciate the simplicity of this life. And we make it so complicated. We make life so hard. So what I believe is that we're here to identify who we are, express who we are, but express ourselves from that loving, compassionate side that we all have. You know, don't get bitter. You know, bad things will happen. That don't get angry. Don't get bitter. Don't, you know, don't be afraid to be who you were meant to be. Loving, caring, you know, be an example. Be a good example. The things we do here, we can't do there. I couldn't touch anything over there without becoming it. I didn't have this physicality. I didn't feel like I was in this body. I felt free. But I love being in this body now. I love this body. This body is a gift.